Hello and welcome to another edition of National Focus. I'm Kimani. Coming up, United States Embassy renews its commitment to the American Corner in Dominica. Plans for the establishment of a National Teaching Council on the way, and the U.S. government partners with the local judicial system for a civil recovery advocacy workshop. Stay with me for details of these stories and others after the break.
Scary! Everything just shaking and making big creaky noises.
Earthquakes, big and small, take place in the Caribbean at least 10 times a year.
The dishes rattling and falling and breaking, then Vonnie started to scream.
All I could think to do was shout, "Get outside, get out!"
Earthquakes, hazards, take control, reduce your loss. If an earthquake hits, what can you do? Get down, get under an item of furniture like a table. Hold on and stay there until the quake passes. Find out lots more about earthquakes and other hazards at your local disaster office. A message from your National Disaster Office and Sidera.
The facts as they are, brought to you every day. Only on GIS Channel 7.
Welcome back. A memorandum of understanding between the United States Embassy to Barbados and the Eastern Caribbean and the American Corner in Dominica was signed on Monday at the Rosa Public Library. The signing ceremony represents the embassy's continued support to the American Corner program at the library. In November of 2009, the U.S. Embassy provided the initial grant funds of US $20,000 to establish the American Corner at the Rosa Public Library. This was followed by further funding of US $10,000 in December 2012. Ambassador Larry Palmer signed on behalf of the U.S. Embassy, while Dominica's Education Minister, Honorable Peter Saint-Jean, signed on behalf of the government of Dominica.
Today we're here to reaffirm our Memorandum of Understanding and to continue our great partnership with the government and the people of Dominica. We support endeavors like this because we sincerely believe in partnership. In this interconnected world, we interact on a daily basis with people from across the world. We share interests and we share goals. We're stronger when we work together, and it's much easier to make positive things happen. And the American Corner in Dominica is an excellent example of just how true that is.
The U.S. Ambassador is pleased that Dominican children and adults have been able to benefit tremendously from this program.
Since its opening, this wonderful space and this wonderful library has attracted so many Dominicans to enjoy a wide variety of resources: books, computers, board games, and even Kindles. The fantastic staff here has planned dozens of successful events and activities, film festivals, book clubs, and game days for youngsters, just to name a few. And I want to take a moment to thank each member of the staff and of the American Corner here for all of your hard work, not only for this year, but throughout the years.
The Public Affairs section of the U.S. Embassy in Bridgetown, Barbados, has partnered with the Rosa Public Library in providing books, DVDs, equipment, and training to operate the American Corner. Chief Librarian Magdalene Robbins says, through this partnership, the library has been able to augment its collections and programs. Plans to establish a National Teaching Council for Dominica has moved to another stage. In April this year, the Dominica Association of Teachers, in collaboration with the Ministry of Education, organized a meeting to help create an awareness with regards to the establishment of a National Teaching Council on the island. Dr. Morello Joseph, Program Manager for Human Resource Development at the CARICOM Secretariat, on Monday met with stakeholders at the Public Service Training Center to continue discussions on the formation of the council. Dr. Joseph says Monday's session looked at critical areas which must be considered in establishing such a council.
We are actually looking at the key functions of the Teaching Council, the justification for establishing one, and the responsibilities of the various entities involved in education that work in tandem with the Public Service Commission with regards to the teaching profession.
Dr. Morella says the establishment of a body to serve the teaching profession in Dominica is necessary.
Here in Dominica, the Public Service Commission, I was made to understand, is responsible for teachers, right? The hiring and firing of teachers and dealing with disciplinary matters. But with regard to the teaching profession, you know, as a body, and to place it in line with other established professions, nobody is responsible for that. And that is why we are pushing for the establishment of the Teaching Council that will try to enhance, you know, the status of the teaching profession and also place it in line with other well-established professions like medicine and law and engineering and accountants.
Minister of Education, Honorable Peter Seja, has given the assurance that his ministry will take full responsibility in ensuring that the National Teaching Council is established. And in more news, the St. Joseph constituency's Member for Parliament, Honorable Kelva Daru, published his support for the 2013-2014 national budget at Friday's Parliament sitting. Honorable Daru, who described the budget as mature, responsible and practical, listed his reasons for saying so, the first being the exclusion of any new taxes.
As we go through this budget, Mr. Speaker, there are several plans and measures which are highlighted in the budget which points to this fact of responsibility, management, and maturity of this administration. One, there are no new taxes. Because we understand, Mr. Speaker, some of the challenges that an ordinary Dominican citizen has to go through on a day-to-day basis. And that is why this government has not implemented no new taxes in this year's budget. And several budgets in the past, there have been no new taxes, Mr. Speaker. All in an effort to ensure that the ordinary citizen can have greater ease of doing business. We have identified opportunities for growth in this year's budget. And several of them have been outlined in the Ministry of Agriculture.
Honorable Daru went on to underscore government's continued devotion to public support programs as another indicator of a commendable budget.
We have seen a continuation of government's social programs, and that is key. One cannot deny the impact that these social programs are having. And in fact, Mr. Speaker, these social programs within themselves have been able to create employment for people. And I could speak here of the GIS Program, where several persons have been employed through this program and this initiative of the government. Chances, the place of safety for children, Mr. Speaker. When this building was implemented, and you have children at this building now, we have caretakers for these children, and a network in place to provide all of the basic needs for these children. And the list can go on. The school feeding program, the transportation program for our school children. All of these social programs, Mr. Speaker, will continue in spite of the numerous economic challenges that we are facing. Because this government prides itself, Mr. Speaker, in ensuring that the ordinary citizen can have a better life. And this is a commitment that we make, and of course make no apologies for this.
And the government of Dominica has allocated $1 million towards the continuation of the Apprenticeship Program. This was confirmed by Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit during his presentation of the 2013-2014 fiscal budget to Parliament. He says this supports government's stance that economic growth can be advanced through entrepreneurial development.
During the last fiscal year, the Program of Financial and Technical Support continued for the Small Business and Employment Agency, SBEA. Loan and grant disbursements by the SBEA amounted to $811,962 in the fiscal year just ended. This benefited 192 businesses throughout Dominica. We recognized from our earlier interventions that a small business development program is likely to be more successful if it is accompanied by an apprenticeship or mentorship program. As such, Madam Speaker, following on the policy position articulated in last budget address for reactivating the apprenticeship program, the SBEA selected 45 young apprentices desirous of establishing their own small businesses. These young apprentices were enrolled in culinary arts and creative manicure and pedicure apprenticeship training program. The 2-month program is ongoing, and a stipend is provided to participants to cover transportation and incidentals.
The Small Business and Employment Agency collaborated with the National Bank of Dominica and the Dominica Social Security for orienting the apprentices to establish business relationships with these institutions. The apprenticeship program prepares the potential entrepreneurs with the general knowledge, skills, and basic procedures and practices for establishing and operating a business.
The general features of the program are as follows. Support is provided for a period of 2 to 6 months in duration. Targets young unemployed men and women between the ages of 18 to 45 years, desirous of establishing their own small business. Payment of a stipend to each apprentice. Upon completion of the training program, funding will be provided to support the small business, and bank accounts established, and all apprentices registered with the DSS. Through a similar program targeting the Layu and St. Joseph communities, a number of persons were assisted with technical and financial assistance. In Layu, a total of 25 women of the community were further empowered as certified food handlers and seamstresses. In St. Joseph, government made available $200,000 to implement the program. 57 people from Mero and St. Joseph communities receive assistance for that component. Government will continue to strengthen the apprenticeship program, and $1 million has been allocated for its continuation in this financial year. A stipend of between $25 and $50 per day will be made available to apprentices in the program. We recognize that the program of apprenticeship will not always be adequate for transferring the necessary confidence and range of business skills required to successfully enter the world of business. To address this, government will provide support for a mentoring program. One part of the program will see government engage a number of mentors, persons with knowledge and experience in businesses, who will guide and impart the know-how required for the apprentice to enter the world of business.
The program allows potential investors to engage persons with relevant qualification or skills, but who require on-the-job training so that eventually they will be able to fully take over some of the responsibilities. Both apprenticeship and mentoring programs will give priority to persons desirous of entering the areas of business activity related to the products and commodities identified in the targeted investments outlined. In an effort for Dominica's judicial system to better grasp the new legislation which allows for the recovery of the assets of persons who have been involved in illicit activities, a civil recovery advocacy workshop has been organized for July 29th and 30th, 2013. The U.S. government has partnered with the Chambers of the Attorney General, the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, the Financial Intelligence Unit, and the Judicial Education Institute of the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court to spearhead this training workshop. Dr. Larry Palmer, U.S. Ambassador to Barbados and the Eastern Caribbean, in his brief address at the opening ceremony, noted that crime is a global issue which can potentially corrupt the whole of society.
Organized crime is a global problem. Transnational criminal organizations operate in the United States, Europe, here in Dominica, and throughout the world. And the damage they cause to our societies cannot be overstated. The perpetrators degrade our economies and our communities. They target our young people, and they lure them into a life of crime. They flaunt their ill-gotten gains and send a message to the law-abiding citizen that crime does indeed pay. So in order to combat organized crime, every country, of course, needs a strategy, and more than that, they need a commitment to implement that strategy. In the last few months, Dominica has sent a very clear message to its citizens and to the international community, and most importantly, to criminals operating in this country, that Dominica will not sit back and allow criminal groups to operate on this beautiful island with impunity.
Honorable Levi Peter, in his remarks, stressed on the importance of this training, saying legally confiscating the assets of criminals will significantly reduce the level of criminal activity in Dominica.
If you deprive those who engage in criminal activity, particularly serious criminal activity, of the financial rewards, then the attraction of engaging in that criminal activity becomes significantly reduced, if not eliminated. It is hoped that this introduction of the civil asset recovery procedure will provide that tool, which is going to go a long way to assisting this jurisdiction in reducing serious criminal activity.
The workshop will be conducted by Paul Garlick, an expert in civil asset recovery in Commonwealth countries, and Nicola Suter, a financial crimes mentor to the U.S. Embassy in Bridgetown, Barbados. And finally, this news time, the Rosa Public Library on Monday concluded its Children's Summer Program with a formal closing ceremony and exhibition. Students who participated in the summer program got an opportunity to showcase what they learned during the summer activity. One participant, Zina Vital, got an opportunity to read books from the children's section of the American Corner at the Rosa Public Library. Zina presented a book report on one of the books she read during the summer program at Monday's closing ceremony.
The Skeleton in the Smithsonian, written by Ron Roy and illustrated by Timothy Bush, is an interesting read inspired by American history. The story was set in Washington, D.C., where the famous museum, the Smithsonian, is located. This museum and other popular buildings were funded by a wealthy British scientist, James Smithson. The money used to build these was obtained from his will, which was originally left to his nephew. However, his nephew died and had no children. Consequently, all the money was left to the United States to create a place for learning. In the story, a man called Mr. Fisher claims that the money belongs to him. However, the protagonist, Casey, and her best friend, Marshall, try to prove him wrong. In my opinion, the book is quite fascinating and I enjoy reading it. I would recommend it to any reader within the age range of 5 to 12 years old.
Other participants sang songs and recited poems. Seasoned writer and poet Ian Jackson recited an old-time story to the delight of the young ones.
I will tell you what happened. That night, when she thought the whole village was asleep, Mona get up late into the night and she take out his skin and she hang it on a breadfruit tree and she fly down in the village to Nsukuya and she go and suck 2 of Mr. Jones' goat they had for the feast. While she was doing that, it have a man they call Bam, and that's how they name Bam see. Bam see her, and Bam run up the breadfruit tree, and he put garlic, pepper, and salt, and all kind of thing upon the tree. And then he put it back, he put back his skin. Early in the morning, Mamona come running, flying. Skin, skin, come to me. Skin, skin, cover me. I have drunk the blood as much as a jug. Skin, skin, cover me. The skin jump up from the breadfruit tree and come onto my bone of flesh. And Mamona start to ball along the whole village because it was seasoning, pepper, curry, all kind of thing on the skin. We never see Mamona again.
Ian Jackson is an established writer who has published numerous books of poetry and prose. He regularly contributes articles on various aspects of Dominican culture to local newspapers and other publications. His most recent publication is the book entitled Lyrics and Melodies, 50 Years of Calypso, 30 Years of Independence. Ian Jackson will receive a Golden Drum Award on Tuesday evening at the Arak House of Culture for his contribution to the promotion of music and creative writing in Dominica. And that's the English segment of the news. Coming up in today's tip, I would like to encourage you to become a mentor.
Let's have some fun, eh?
I'm not ready for your kind of fun yet.
But everybody else is doing it.
But I'm not everybody else. I'm me, and I want to do well in school.
Well, you definitely get an A for attitude.
I plan to get an A in life, and then I'll think of your kind of fun.
So what am I to do in the meantime?
You'll survive.
Say no when you're not ready. Use condoms when you are.
Be a positive influence on the life of a young person and become a mentor. As a matter of fact, being a mentor is a shared opportunity for learning and growth. Many mentors say that the rewards they gain are as substantial as those for their mentees. Being a mentor will allow you to have fun and improve self-esteem as you feel good about making a difference. Good mentors are willing to take time to get to know their mentees and to learn the new things that are important to that young person who may ultimately be changed by the relationship. Accept the challenges and rewards of mentoring a young person and experience the benefits that may last each of you a lifetime. And that's all for this edition of National Focus. We always welcome your suggestions and comments. Drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm or visit our website at news.gov.dm. Friend us on our Facebook page and be sure to like our GIS Dominica fan page. You can also catch up on past National Focus newscasts on our GIS Dominica YouTube channel. On behalf of the entire news production team, I'm Kimani. Thanks for watching.